What's going on, Laker fans? D-Mac here. Welcome to another episode of the Lakers 24-8 Roundtable. As always, I'm joined by Sports Illustrated Lakers expert, Mr. Noah Cameras. You can follow him on Twitter over at Noah Cameras. And then, as always, my man, bring in the noise by Noel. You can follow him there at that handle. How you boys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me here. Very excited. A lot to talk about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So a missed opportunity by the Lakers last night, an opportunity to get back into 500. They have a game against the Knicks without Jalen Brunson. The Lakers had a real shot to really win that game, had a lead in the fourth quarter. We're going to talk a little bit about Ham's rotations, but how big of a missed opportunity do you think that was from the Lakers last night? What was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, no, I was actually there. It was a huge missed opportunity for the Lakers. I mean, they had a chance to get back to 500 for the first time, not including 0-0 for the first time since January of 2022. So, I mean, they had a huge opportunity to get back to 500, to get into that 6th seed. And, I mean, obviously it's one game. I mean, they're still 8-4 since the deadline, so you know they can still keep working. But it would have been really nice to see them win that game at home without Brunson. Obviously, LeBron's still out, but they're playing great without him. So would have loved to see them. Some bad rotations by Ham we'll get to. But, you know, what can you do? Just keep moving forward. Got to win the next one.
So you were there. You were sitting courtside. There's name droppers, and then there's game droppers. You're a game dropper.
I'm a game dropper.
Nice.
I'm not courtside, but
Nice.
I was there. I was in the building. Good atmosphere at times. It was fun. I really wish they'd come out with a win, but they have to win Tuesday against the Pelicans.
Yeah, it was a major missed opportunity by the Lakers, and now they're in a position where you have to win that game on the road against the Pelicans. Yeah. We know with the Lakers this season, if a player's been injured, they're going to return once they face the Lakers. So we'll see, always. Is Brandon Ingram back in the 100%. Lineup? And then we'll see when they face the Rockets, will Anthony Davis play on that back-to-back? But Noel, your boy, D'Angelo Russell, you were high on him when they made the trade, when they made the deal. Really was his best game as a Laker. 33 points on 13 of 19 shooting, 8 dimes, 5 boards, 6 for 11 from beyond the arc. He was D-Lo. No, he was 3-Lo. I call him D-Logo the other day. But, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about his fit for this team, what you saw from him last night.
I mean, it's just been a beautiful fit so far, Doug. I'm not going to lie. Like, the fluidity of his game, the way he's able to run the pick and roll, the way he's able to project that offense night in, night out so far, and just the way he's been embracing this role as the point guard on the Lakers, it's something really beautiful to see. And I've been telling a lot of people that he was going to take opportunity of this advantage once again, that he finally got to return home to LA where he first started out, and just seeing how he's meshed with AD, those pick and roll lobs have been beautiful. The transition threes, we all love to see him. He's bringing Crypto Arena to their feet every single time he lets one off. And even though he couldn't get those threes going at the end of the game where we really needed them, one thing that I saw that he was doing was he was propelling that team to continue fighting. Yeah. I think we've seen so many times through this year and probably last season too that the Lakers kind of gave up once they would kind of fizzle out near the end. But seeing this team in the situation they're in, that they want to win as many games as possible to hopefully avoid the play-in and just get in that 5th seed, I feel like the Lakers as a whole, they're actually competing and fighting towards that last buzzer sound. And we saw it with that last 3 he took. And even that last play, a lot of people were criticizing that they didn't foul right away. But Jared Vanderbilt was just a few steps away from stealing that ball, and it would have been a whole different story. And not a lot of people were looking at it that way. But I feel like it's all starting with the point guard, D-Lo, his return. He scored 33 points, like you said, looking super comfortable. But one question I want to raise to you guys real quick about D-Lo is, do you guys think he's the best point guard that the Lakers have had since Nick Van Exel? Because I look at names like Derek Fisher, Lonzo Ball, Rajon Rondo, and while they've all been super good for the Lakers in periods of time, I feel like as a whole, the way that D-Lo is playing right now, I think he has potential to be probably their best point guard in some time in the past 2 decades.
Yeah, my answer to that would be, if you're looking at a true point guard, I think that he pretty much easily takes the cake. When you look at his accolades, I think Russell Westbrook, he left a lot to be desired. He wasn't prime Russell Westbrook. So if you're looking at their entire body work for their career, it's easy to say Russ in that situation. LeBron James, I still see him really as a point guard when you consider how much he handles the ball, how much he facilitates the offense. But yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I think last night he was phenomenal. My only critique of his game last night, though, was not really getting Anthony Davis involved in spots. And AD struggled last night, goes 8 for 18. He was rebounding like crazy. I think one of the reasons that he struggled was because you didn't have that second big other than Wenyen Gabriel because of Mo Bamba's injury. We'll get into that. But yeah, I think he just needs to continue to build chemistry with Anthony Davis, because AD's not a guy that has that move, that signature move. He doesn't have the sky hook. He doesn't have Jordan's fadeaway or anything like that. You really have to get him involved. I like seeing that high pick and roll action they were running early in that that game. But yeah, I have no problem saying that D'Angelo Russell really is one of the better Lakers point guards that we've seen. I mean, Lonzo Ball, I mean, if he doesn't get traded, if he stays and doesn't get injured, maybe at this point, if you look at what he does on both sides of the court, you can make the case for Lonzo if his career worked out. But look, D'Angelo Russell, he's an all-star point guard. But what do you say?
Yeah, first of all, on the AD thing, it literally took them until the second to last play of the game to get AD on a pick and roll and on an alley-oop to the basket from Reeves. It's like, clearly there was space for it. But yeah, honestly, I love that take on D'Lo. I mean, I said yesterday when I was watching the game and I was like, kind of starting to feel that offense with D'Lo, I said they ought to re-sign D'Lo before he gets to the offseason. And that's the first time I've said that take, because I was big on waiting to see what happens with Kyrie. I know in our first Laker roundtable, that's what I said. But now that I've really seen D'Lo in this offense, I think they have to re-sign him before the offseason because he's just such a perfect fit. And yeah, I do think he's one of the better point guards we've seen in a while, just because of how he commands the offense. I mean, you can see he's much more mature now than he was, 6 years ago when he was with the Lakers, which makes sense because he's been in the league a while, but just the way he's calm with the ball, how he commands the offense, how he knows when to slow it down, how he knows how to get to his spot, and then also get people to their own spots. And yeah, I mean, he could work with a little more with AD, but also AD was just looking a little, I don't know, he wasn't really playing as dominant as he should yesterday anyway. But yeah, I really love how D'Lo's looked, and I really think he has to be the point guard of the future now because of how calm he is in this offense, how much he runs it, and how much he feeds off of the energy. And he knows when the fans need that transition three, he hits it and the fan erupts, and he's just so comfortable. So I don't know, I really like him, and I do think he's a really perfect fit for this offense right now.
Yeah, I want to say too, though. I mean, the disrespect to Smush Parker. I mean, that's just out of line. It's out of pocket. I can say that, but
that's my bad. I forgot about that boy.
I mean, come on now.
He was cold.
No, but I mean, look. Of course, Derek Fisher, of course, more of a team point guard, right? I mean, his ceiling, D'Angelo Russell. If Derek Fisher had a night like he did last night, that'd be like a career game for him, really. Yeah. But I think with D'Angelo Russell, we're still in the honeymoon phase, okay? And we know that he has been streaky throughout his career. We'll see how he performs in the playoffs. He is fragile at times too, from an injury standpoint. But so far, so good. I will say though, after that Friday night game where he said that, I'm about to bring the fun back to the Lakers. Lakers are 0-fun in the D'Angelo Russell era. So yeah, I think it's working out well so far. But I think the other issue last night, aside from the free throw shooting, which was bad, I mean, the Lakers, they just could not hit free throws late, especially Anthony Davis, who was 1 for 5 from the line. And they would have won that game if they hit their free throws. Yeah. But one thing that concerned me last night was the lineups of Darvin Ham. I mean, Malik Beasley, who we're going to dive into in a few minutes here, he struggled once again. Vanderbilt struggled once again. Troy Brown was atrocious last night. And you look at Austin.
Yeah, sure. He came back.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them combined, they went 5 for 23. 5 for 23 as a group. And if you get a little more production from those guys, Lakers are going to win that game. But my issue last night was seeing less Austin Reeves. I think if you see 5 more minutes of Austin Reeves last night, if you see 5 more minutes of LeBron James, Lakers are getting the dub last night. But instead, goes back to Malik Beasley. You saw that lineup that started the fourth quarter. Lakers were up 1. And yeah, it just was bad. But what is your take on just Darvin Ham and just kind of how he managed the lineup in stretches?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Right now, Darvin Ham has an embarrassment of riches, I think, in terms of wing talent that he can go through, kind of play the hot hand. Can you do me a favor? Can you tell me what Troy Brown Jr. shot last night? Because I know it was bad. I don't know the exact number.
Look it up.
It must have been 0 for 8 or something. You can look it up while I keep talking. But in a game like yesterday when Troy Brown Jr. is struggling, like you said, he comes back down to earth. Why don't you put in Lonnie Walker to get some offense? I mean, there's times where that offense was so stagnant. When D'Lo and AD were out, that offense was rough to watch. I mean, Schroeder had his moments, but overall it wasn't great. And when Malik Beasley and Troy Brown Jr. aren't making the open shots, that's when you go to someone like Lonnie, who you know can score in bunches at any moment. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, why aren't you giving him a shot? Like, you know he can score for you, and this team needs offense. And then as for the rotations, yeah, I mean, I'm like holding out hope that Malik Beasley didn't get that Laker curse, but it is so tough to watch. And it's so sad because he's such a good shooter, and I trust him really more than anyone to hit an open 3. But when he struggles, you got to go to Austin Reeves. Yeah. And I mean, you think of, a rotation with Schroeder, Reeves, and you can get Lonnie Walker in there. That's just as good as having Schroeder, Brown, and Beasley. And when Brown and Beasley are struggling, you need to go to the other guys. So, yeah, did you end up seeing what Troy Brown did?
Yeah, he stunk up the joint. Yeah. Absolutely. Goes 0 for 8, 0 for 7 from beyond the arc, went 3 for 4 from the charity stripe, was a -9. Yeah. So, yeah, he definitely struggled. But the reason why you're not seeing Lonnie Walker, and I think Lonnie Walker is a guy who, one thing you really like about him is when his shot isn't falling, when he isn't hitting from downtown, he's able to create his own shot. He can get to the rim. Whereas Malik Beasley, it's really like a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
If that three-point shot isn't going in, he struggles to find offense. Now, one positive with Beasley, though, is even when that shot's not going, the defense still respects it. And you'll see the spacing there. But yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. The reason why Lonnie Walker isn't in there is because he's not going to be a Laker next year. And at this point, guys like a Malik Beasley, who has a club option, it's an audition as well as trying to help them win games. So that's really what we're seeing. And I do agree you want to see him in there. And if you're Darvin Ham, I'm saying to myself, hey, forget what the organization wants me to do as far as the team this season. I'm trying to win games because every game they lose, I mean, you're talking about the difference between being a 6 seed versus an 11 seed. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on Darvin Ham? Any critique of him? I mean, do you think that he's won you over as a coach?
Not just yet, because he's still kind of finding his way as the Lakers head coach here. We've seen him experiment with all kinds of different lineups throughout his time as the coach. But like you guys are saying, like, why not just throw Lonnie in there, experiment one last time, see what he could give the team? And
he would have been better than 0 for 8, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like he still needs to go a long ways as far as winning over the team, kind of setting forth himself as that, being willing to give discipline to all the players. And as far as players like a Troy Brown, you got to take him out in that sense. Malik Beasley, his form was there, his shot was there. They were all pretty much on target. They just weren't going in. And
that's true.
You got to give what you're going to get with the shooter. You got to live or die by them by the three-point line. But the Lakers have historically been bad from three for quite some time now. And I know we were all hoping that bringing in Malik Beasley was going to change that. And Troy Brown has been incredible these past few weeks. So obviously he was bound to kind of fizzle out and round back out those averages. But as far as Ham, I still want to see some more from him as far as, you know, getting the players that need to get into the game to help us win, like Austin Reeves, even Lonnie Walker. And yeah, I just feel he needs to really figure out his rotations going into the postseason. And he needs to put those groups together that could actually win us games down the stretch, that can defend and can make the big time plays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the idea of shoot or shoot, and I think Malik Beasley is that guy. I mean, like, I don't want Malik Beasley to ever stop shooting. I mean, I really think he has a guy that's going to shoot his way out of the slump. Troy Brown Jr. isn't that guy. He's not like a historically great three-point shooter. I mean, he's already struggled this year. Yeah, he did have a good few weeks, but, like, if he's having a bad game, it's okay. Take him out. Like, it's not like we need him. I mean, yeah, his defense is good, but it's not like exceptional. And Austin Reeves is a great defender too. And if you don't want to go to Lonnie Walker for any reason, how about Max Christie? He's sitting on the bench. He's played really good minutes when he's been up.
Stretches.
He's a good defender. He's had good stretches. If you're really worried about like going with Lonnie for him not being here next year, Max is going to be here next year. Give him some run. I don't know. I mean, like, play around with it, but like, you don't have to stick with Troy Brown Jr. when he's going 0 for 8. I love Troy Brown. I think he's going to have a great rest of the year with us. But if he's having a bad game, you have other options, and I think Darvin Ham doesn't know how to go to those other options.
Yeah, he's been willing to do so with all kinds of other players. So I would kind of expect the same with Troy Brown Jr.
Like, if one bad game, it's okay. Like, give him the day off if he's 0 for 8 from deep, because or 0 for 7 from deep. Because if he hits 2 of those threes, the Lakers win. I mean, it's that simple. Like, if he hit a few threes, this game's different. So
yeah, absolutely. I just want to know what the hell he was drawing when they showed him drawing up that play. Was he doing tic-tac-toe? Was he filling out his March Madness bracket? Because yeah, I've just lost some confidence from Darvin Ham. He's a great culture builder, but I think from an X's and O's standpoint, he definitely needs to improve. I think some of these slow starts are because of these starting lineups. But we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the Lakers' 15th roster spot, because right now I think it was absolutely apparent last night that they needed another big, because Anthony Davis, they were double teaming him. He couldn't get free. He wasn't in positions where he could score. And with Mo Bamba out, I think they need another guy. Wenyen Gabriel, he's great at what he does. He plays his role, but in extended minutes, he's going to get cooked. So I think there are some names out there, but I want to first start with you, Noah. Do you think it's absolutely imperative that the Lakers go out there and bring in another warm body for this roster?
Yeah, I think they have to, just because, first of all, why don't you? I mean, like, what's the point of not? You don't get any benefit of not having another guy just in case something happens. And yeah, you see, I mean, here, if Anthony Davis gets in foul trouble in a game, the only other big man right now is Wenyen Gabriel, and he is not matching up with some of the top West bigs like DeAndre Ayton, even Rudy Gobert. I mean, there are so many bigs that he's not matching up with. So you need to fill that spot. I saw that Jovan Buha, the Athletic, said that it's going to be likely a 10-day deal, not going to be like a give someone the sign bonus of the year. So they want to kind of try people out. So yeah, you can try a few people out with that sort of concept and see if they fit. But I think they have to get another big, because right now it's Anthony Davis, Wenyen Gabriel, and then just hoping for the best. And if Anthony Davis gets in foul trouble, which he will at some point, or knock on wood, gets hurt, I mean, you got no depth with your big men.
Yeah, it really hurt the Lakers last night was rebounding, especially giving up those offensive rebounds. And it's clear at this point that if you're going to have Anthony Davis carry the load offensively, he needs some more help with another big. But we're going to throw out some names. We're going to start with your guy, Mr. DeMarcus Cousins. Do you want to see the Lakers bring back Boogie?
Honestly, feel like I've been waiting a long time to see DeMarcus finally suit up for the Lakers and team up with Anthony Davis again. Obviously, he's a long shot from his Sacramento and his Pelicans days when I would argue that he was the best center in the league.
Yeah.
But I still feel like a lot of that skill, a lot of that offense is still there. We saw him come off the bench for multiple contenders in the Clippers, the Bucks, and specifically the Nuggets. I really liked how he backed up Nikola Jokic, and he wasn't matching that production, which he's not going to in his career, match the production of any All-Stars. But coming off the bench, he was still in the double digits. He had a game where he posted about 20 to 30 points too against a solid team, and I feel like for the Lakers, he's going to provide the floor spacing, obviously, as a big man, being one of the first centers to actually add that three-point shot to his game. He can handle the ball. He's looking slimmer. Like when he first joined the Lakers, before he tore his ACL, he was looking ready to get some business done. And I feel like he already knows the culture there. And if anybody can keep Boogie's temper under control, it's going to be Anthony Davis and LeBron. And it's another opportunity for Darvin Ham to prove what he can do in this sense. And I just feel like at that 15 spot, when you do need some production off the bench like last night when the offense was a little stagnant, get someone like Boogie in there who's experienced in the league, who has a chip on his shoulder trying to stay in the league again. And I feel like he could be a plus for us.
Yeah, and the last time he played any type of minutes he was averaging 9.6 points per game, almost 8 boards, and a little over 20 minutes with the Rockets back in 2021. They released him. You saw him play with the Milwaukee Bucks when Darvin Ham was there, so there is that connection. But what's your take? Do you think the Lakers should consider bringing back DeMarcus Cousins?
I do like Boogie as an option. I do think he could still contribute and give the Lakers something they need. He's not going to play more than probably like 18 minutes a game, but it'll be solid 18 minutes. But he's not my number one choice. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun by giving my number one choice, but I'm going to go to anyway. My number one choice is still Dwight Howard. Obviously, he's playing overseas right now, playing pretty well. I mean, of course, he's going to dominate. He's a huge body. He's going to dominate. But I don't know. I just think he's been with this team a lot. He won a championship with this team. He's part of that culture that everyone really liked, and I just think he can come in and play that role as well as Boogie. He's not the same player as Boogie, obviously, but I think he could be more dominant because of how big of a body he is, and he can go match up with those really big centers and bully him in the paint and at least hold his own, and I just think he can also play 18 minutes a game. He's not going to score as much. We don't need our big to score. He'll hit his lobs when he needs to. He'll get some offensive rebounds, but he'll be that big body on defense that can clog the paint a little bit and can just help AD. And obviously we know that it works because he was on this team a few years ago and they won, so we know that a lineup with him and AD can work. So it'll just be Darvin Ham trying to make it work. But I just think he would be the great candidate. I assume he'd want to come. I mean, I think his goal is to get back to the NBA, so I don't know why he would turn that down to get a postseason run back with the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Dwight Howard, I watched the game on Facebook Live in Taiwan, and he was getting cooked in Taiwan, okay? So I was watching pretty extensively, and I mean, what is he going to do for the Lakers other than be a name, a brand? And you wonder, I mean, does he really want to come back to the Lakers in this reduced role? I mean, that's another question if he's even open to it. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that you saw the first year really excelled in his role. He rebounded, he provided a little bit of boost, but then he aged quickly. I mean, he was aging quicker than Sushi in the Sun in his second season. So really, he started to struggle. And at this point in his career, at this late in the season, I don't think he would provide that much. I think really managing the minutes that the current guys have is kind of more important than bringing in another Dwight Howard that you expect to. But I think what the Lakers really need is possibly if Nerlens Noel becomes available. I mean, he's a name. He's on that the Brooklyn 10-day. So if there's some talk that he could become available, but they had the perfect guy. They had a guy in their system in Jay Huff, and he signed a two-way deal with the Washington Wizards early in the season. So that's why you want to kind of maintain that depth. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I do think the Lakers need another warm body to kind of help out with Anthony Davis, especially if LeBron James isn't going to return for any regular season action. But yeah, I think it's more important to really manage the minutes of the current players, because let's be honest, last night, if they hit their free throws, if you see more Austin Reeves, if the 3 of the 5 starters weren't cold, they would have won that game. So I don't think it's as, I mean, Serge Ibaka is another name that's out there too, which is really interesting. So yeah, if this was 2011, this would be fantastic, right? But it's like going to Toys R Us on Christmas Eve. There's not a lot of great stuff left. It's like Sid's toys from Toy Story. They all have their issues. So, yeah, I'm not as high on Dwight Howard, but if I had to pick one of them, I think DeMarcus Cousins, the guy they're saying he works out 6 days a week, he'd be interesting. But I think Nerlens Noel, if he comes available, Serge Ibaka, championship pedigree. I think he's a guy that in the locker room definitely has a strong presence. But next guy I want to talk about is Malik Beasley. Because Malik Beasley, he has not excelled with the Lakers. He really has struggled at times, averaging just over 11 points. His three-point percentage is down from 36% to 32% in almost 8 attempts per game. To me, he's almost like a homeless man's KCP without the defense at this point. But what are your initial thoughts on Malik Beasley's time with the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, I already said it. He's someone who I believe you got to let him keep shooting. There's the quote on if you go 0 for 9, it's worse than 0 for 30 because he stopped shooting. That's how I feel Malik Beasley. I trust him to find his shot. He'll find it when he needs to, when the stretch run happens, when the postseason comes. I think he'll be a guy that we really rely on. And like you said, he's still someone that when you watch defenses, they are like in his grill. Like they are so focused on not letting him get open in this Laker offense that even if he's not hitting at a 36% clip, which hopefully he'll get to, he's at least drawing the defense. So he's someone that I still believe in. Yeah, it's a bummer that he's not playing like we were hoping he would when the Lakers traded for him, but I'm holding out hope that he's going to get back where at least he's hitting at a better clip, and he's gonna have some games where he's just gonna go off, and I think he can get like 30 points when he's really hot. So he's someone that I'm totally believing in. Don't take him out of the lineup. Keep him in there. Let him shoot 8 threes a game. At some point, those are gonna fall, and he's going to be a huge piece for this Lakers team.
So you're sticking with Beasley. I think the important thing for him is to have him get a rhythm going. He has to see the ball go through the hoop. I mean, he's a volume three-point shooter. You saw the game against the Warriors when he made 7 of 11 threes. So he needs a game like that. And as a starter, I think that's tougher for him because you saw the Lakers, they are getting off to slower starts. I think if he comes off the bench and is able to just launch threes and get himself going, I think that would help him. But what are your thoughts on Beasley, Noel?
I mean, yeah, that would be pretty interesting if they inserted someone like Reeves and let Beasley come off the bench, go against the bench defenders, and just get his confidence back. But, I mean, it's like you guys are saying, he's just going to need to keep shooting his way out of it like any great shooter in the NBA needs to do. Once you throw on that Laker uniform, it's no joke playing in front of one of the greatest cities in the world and having to play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's a blessing and a curse because once LeBron comes back, he's going to be getting even more open looks, more than ever. I think that's when we're really going to see him thrive, with the King being one of the best point guards, small forwards, whatever you want to call them. He has some of the best vision ever, and he finds his shooters, whether he be in the corner, the top of the key. And I just think as long as he keeps shooting, tries to get that confidence back up, he's going to be key for us in this playoff stretch and hopefully championship push, because in this era of three-point shooters, you're going to need that one knockdown shooter on every team. You know, LeBron's three-point shooting is pretty much more down than it's been in these past few years, that he has improved his shot. We all know that Anthony Davis has kind of gone downhill since the bubble. And yeah, outside of Malik Beasley, there isn't really a whole lot of people we can rely on him. So he has an opportunity to really become something special, play an even better Danny Green, KCP type role that they did in our 2020 championship run. So I'm going to remain hopeful in him for now. You know, we traded for him alongside D'Angelo Russell, and I think both those guys can both raise their three-point percentages as long as they just keep pulling. This team, their potential is through the roof, like D'Angelo said, even without a training camp. So they just need to keep getting their reps in, keep pulling the trigger on them, and I think Beasley's going to be okay. He has one of the best shots in the league.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, where is that shot? Because, yes, the Laker curse is real. Yes, it's going to take some time for him to acclimate. We thought he had a sniper. What happened to him? Maybe John Morant took his sniper. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm just wondering, what is he going to need to do? Because I was looking at the numbers. Last 2 games in the wins, he averaged 22 minutes per game. In those wins, Austin Reeves, 33 minutes per game. I think the answer is clear to me. We need more Austin Reeves and less Malik Beasley until he figures this out. But one thing I wanted to talk about, too, was the fact that, yes, he does keep defenses honest with his shot, but really, this is about seeing what they have in Beasley. Because the Lakers, they have a club option for over $16 million for next season. There's some talk maybe you consider getting an extension done. Have you seen enough right now for the Lakers to, at the very least, pick up that $16 million club option, Noah?
Yeah, I'm happy you actually asked that because I wanted to talk about that too. And in this moment, I don't think that's getting picked up. I mean, $16 million is not horrible if someone's going to come in and really provide that 3-and-D stuff that you need. But at this point, that seems like not really well spent $16 million, just considering the other guys they want to bring back, and D'Lo and Rui also. So no, it's an interesting one. It's one that I think is one of the reasons they're going to keep putting him out there, like you said, because if they don't put him out there, they don't really have enough of a sample size to say, is this 16 million worth it for next year? I do think if this team continues to go in the direction they're going, 8-4 since the deadline, they keep winning, they're going to want to bring the whole team back because clearly something's right. So they need to see Malik Beasley continue to play with this team. If he continues to shoot at this clip, I don't think they're going to want to bring him back. If he's able to get that percentage up and hit some big threes, I think he'll be coming back. I think in this moment, the Lakers want to bring him back, but they haven't seen enough to do it. So they're going to keep throwing him out there and hope that he gives them what they thought they were going to get, because I think they traded for him knowing they wanted to add him back on that option.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that one. I think that, yeah, he definitely hasn't played as well as a lot of Laker fans had hoped early on. But like I say in a lot of things, look, I mean, there's no such thing as a bad one-year contract, especially when you consider a full training camp with these guys like D'Angelo Russell alluded to a few days ago. These guys need some time to kind of gel, and that shot's in there somewhere, and we know that. And, yeah, at some point, you're going to get some regression to the mean. The law of averages is going to play out, and some of those shots are going to go down. As we were talking about lineups earlier, if a couple more of those go down from Brown or him last night, the Lakers win the game. We're feeling good. They're back to 500. But how about you, Noel? Do you think they should pick up that option? Do you think they should extend him? What are your thoughts?
You know what? I'm going to say that I think they should extend him because me personally, I'm pretty tired of the Lakers trading for and adding different shooters and then just kind of letting them go after half a season or two. I think that in order to play for the purple and gold, you need an acclimation period, and sometimes it takes a little longer than others. Like, I see people like Reggie Bullock leave the Lakers when he was supposed to be our sniper. Then he goes and helps Luka and the Mavericks on a good playoff run, and he's hitting shots for them. I see someone like Wesley Matthews, who we brought in for the exact same reason. Then he goes to, I think, the Bucks, and he becomes a sniper. Same thing with like KCP. He's a key part of why the Nuggets are the #1 offense in the NBA right now, at the #1 seed, and he was playing good for the Wizards as well. So I'm going to say ride it out with Beasley. I don't want to keep looking at the market looking for shooters when it's clear that that's the one thing the Lakers need in order to thrive. I'm going to trust that his three-point shot falls eventually. He's been through a lot of adversity in his career, so I feel like he should be good with the Lakers pressure after a while and play alongside some of his buddies. This culture's cool right now, so I'm just happy with it right now. We didn't win yesterday, and he didn't shoot the best over the past few games, but let's just give him a few more weeks, maybe give him the off season to get better.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. At some point, you need continuity on your roster. Exactly. And since 2020, they've had pretty much 3 different teams around LeBron and AD. At some point, you have to say, okay, this is going to be our core. And it feels like this is going to be the Lakers' core. I mean, if they re-sign D'Lo, that feels like a core of D'Lo, AD, LeBron, with then those guys around him. That feels like a good core. I mean, it's working right now. If it continues to work, that could be the core. So I agree. At some point, you got to lean into it and say, this is our team. We're sick of getting new players
just
around LeBron and AD. Trust these moves that they're going to work, and just let this team develop, because it's not like you can't snap your finger and have a team, be perfectly flowed together. It takes some time.
And it feels like that when LeBron James is at the helm of your team. Like, you need to have a contender overnight and have a #1 seed, #1 everything, but
it takes time.
Yeah, and I was just about to say is you can't really judge Malik Beasley without LeBron James on the court. And the reality is Malik Beasley is one of the most important parts of a potential run for the Lakers. When you're facing a team like the Milwaukee Bucks or some of these upper echelon teams, you need a guy that can stretch the floor, keep the defenses honest, and knock down three-point shots. But they do have to kind of decide between him and Rui if you're talking about a long-term extension. I think they'd probably lean towards the upside of Rui Hachimura.
That would be a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you look at Rui Hachimura, if you look at his mid-range shot, second highest percentage in the league, I think there is something there. But yeah, I think Beasley, lots to improve. I think he's going to pick it up. I definitely think he's due for a 5, 6, 7, 8 three-pointer game, something like that. I think that's going to be coming very soon. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Lakers 24-8 Roundtable. Let us know down below in the comment section. Do you want to see the Lakers extend Malik Beasley? Should they pick up that club option? Who do you want to see them go out and get for that 15th roster spot? Do you want to see Boogie Cousins back in LA, Dwight Howard, some of these retreads, some of these return to LA type guys? Or do you want to see them go out there and maybe go the G League route? To me, I would just take the best G League center available, because he's playing. I mean, you can't trust guys working 6 days. I mean, it's just a very different thing than actual basketball competition. But that's what I would do. And hopefully Mo Bamba can come back soon. I mean, it's probably going to be... Hopefully. I mean,
said
hopefully
a
get a
month,
few games
so-
and there's a chance. But that is going to do it for this episode. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. This, of course, is Lakers expert from Sports Illustrated, Mr. Noah Camrus. Go follow him at Noah Camrus. And he brings the noise, as always, Mr. Noel. You can follow him at Noise by Noel Sanchez. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. And as always, go Lakers.